This is my first video of this kind. In this series, I complete and describe the basics of an academic drawing, including a charcoal drawing of the head in 12 by 16 inch format. The classic academic angle of a portrait is drawn from 3/4 angle, with a strong separation of light and shadow. I decided to use this academic method and will explain each component in detail. This method consists of sketching silhouettes accurately and carefully, drawing masses of light and shadow. In this method, the anatomy and the shape of the human head are secondary. This is especially important when you are in the beginning stages of learning how to draw at the academic level. Copies of classical academic drawings are a great tool in practicing the treatment of masses and boundaries of light and shadow. Draw yourself from scratch in the same way you would draw a live model in a drawing class. This method is great for beginners and can be understood by novice craftsmen. It is advised to draw a sketch on the paper with the same toning as the original format. There may be several sketches, so you can clearly see which type of layout is better. A compositional sketch always begins with an outline of a frame, which is what makes it different from a quick sketch. The frame, or as we call it, the format, strongly influences the sense of space within it. It is something that depends on subconsciousness. The strong vertical format stretches the head vertically. We cannot control this. We just want to stretch it and watch how the given format creates a distortion of content inside. The highly stretched horizontal format forces us to stretch the content inside to the sides. Of course, heads are rarely arranged in such unorthodox formats. Mainly this idea relates to drawing figures. Since I did not have a sketch paper with the same tint as the main format, I just decided to emulate the effect by rubbing some pigment into it. We start the sketch with a general silhouette of the head. In painting and drawing, we always start everything from a general silhouette. It contains movement, plasticity, composition, likeness, and all of the important details. All of these basic skills are learned in the quick sketches, so they should not be neglected in the first 3 to 4 years of study. The main silhouette is also the key to likeness. You can draw an exceptional eye or nose, but the head will never look accurate, even with these precise details, if they are not inserted into a distinctive, characteristic silhouette. The silhouette of the head is very telling. You can even recognize this person in the silhouette without details such as eyes and nose. Each person is an individual, and for each model set in certain way and different lighting situation needs its own solution, its own analysis. It is great that there are generic proportions for depicting a person. Using them will help you achieve greater likeness for the model. In this course, there will not be many diagrams and anatomy, but there will be working principle and method. It will be much more helpful for you. All cubes, spheres and cylinders, proportions, and anatomical analysis are in many anatomical books, and the more different ones you have, the better. Movement in a sketch is more related to drawing a human figure, but in a portrait, movement can also play a dominant role. In this portrait, there is a pronounced tilt to the head downwards. It is very expressive, and that should not be neglected. Next, after the main silhouette, this is the silhouette of the hair. In general, this is the main principle in this drawing method. Draw even smaller silhouette within main silhouette of the head, such as general silhouette, the silhouette of the hair, the silhouette of the eye, the silhouette of the eyelid, the silhouette of the teardrop, and the silhouette of the highlight in the eye, going from general to specific. Next step is to draw the silhouette of the shadow. This is also a very important silhouette. Fill the sketch with tone, find different tonal masses, and create the environment on the drawing. We should not focus on the details. They are not needed till later. The main thing in this compositional sketch is to place contrasting accents, which will help you organize and prioritize main masses. In this case, it is the shadow of the eyes and nose and the accent on the background. We constantly return to the silhouette of the head, organize edges, both in the very first touches to the paper to the very last. Many people are too lazy to draw compositional sketches and neglect doing it. Why is this needed? Why do you need this extra work, which will not be seen or needed by anyone? I myself used to be lazy and would not draw these sketches either. Why is this? I see everything anyway. How much more do I need to learn before I don't need to start with a sketch? I said this to myself and every time regretted not doing the sketch. Instead of spending only 15 minutes on a tiny compositional sketch and determining all the basic and main details of the future image, I would go straight to the format and would look for all this in increased size, which is much more difficult to do, much more effort, more movements, more mistakes. Instead of 15 minutes, I spend 3 to 6 hours, which is the best case scenario, because without a compositional sketch, my drawing may not have worked at all. Such a helpless search at the very beginning will not lead to an expressive, accurate result in the end. When you have to follow your first impression and try to transfer it to paper, you fiddle and groan over the stages that you should not have to worry about. The paper deteriorates and it becomes more difficult to work with. It is more difficult to find answers to questions that are easy to see in a small-size compositional sketch. What is important? What does not matter? What size the head is in the sheet? Whether it will be tilted? What is the character of the model's head? And many other questions. A compositional sketch should always be done in general. Do a quick sketch additionally. From the sketch, you will know which details will be the priority and you can start the anatomical analysis of these details at home on your first day. By the way, it was useful for me at the initial level to sketch not from incredible masters such as Michelangelo or Holbein, but from first or second year academy students whose works were closer to my level. The old masters were too far from me in terms of level, and I understood little in their drawings. I understood much more from drawings that were close to my level, but several steps higher. It will be great if you do this with something that cannot be erased, such as pen and ink or a pen. Then you will immediately understand what you really understand and what you don't. Thank you for watching. To see the full series and learn the methods I was trained in the Rapping Academy, go to proko.com/Solovev, where I go over tinting your paper, the details of the head, and the method I think is the best approach for new artists. See you there.